All right,
I
so
want to drink all this.
just drink it. So we're commenting, reacting to the video of Candace Owens, right? So something that we always talk about is how are we navigating through this LGBT movement stuff, right? I know we've talked about it, and at the end of the day, we love, right? But we can still agree to disagree in values and beliefs, and I don't expect the external people outside of the church to agree with our values and our beliefs, but in return, right, they shouldn't expect me to submit and just agree with what they're doing or saying or pushing.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll watch this video, we'll react to it, and see what we got to say about it. All right.
This is. Stop pretending that this is about pride when you need to wear assless chaps and shake your butt in front of a child's face. And then you say, oh, if you have any issues with this, then it's because you're a bigot and you're raising your child to be a bigot. Your baby needs to be anti-racist, like your baby needs to be anti and pro and supportive of all of these various causes. They need to be pro-trans. They need to be actively pro-trans agenda. It's debauchery everywhere you look. Look at the Pride Parade. Why is it so okay to take your children to a Thanksgiving Day parade? You have no fears, but you know fully well that if you take your child to a Pride Parade, your child is going to be exposed to a bunch of sexuality on display because that's just what they're allowed to do for an entire month. They're allowed to be overtly sexual and pretend that they're a special snowflake and that if you don't like it, it's because you're somehow a heterosexual freak who doesn't understand that people need to express themselves.
What'd you think?
No, I agree with 100% on that video. We mentioned before, you know, Candace Owens is like one of those people that there's a lot that we agree with. Our morals kind of fall in tune with, but not everything, right? But for this, like it's saying like, yeah, I agree too. I feel like it's a push, like that camp of people. Not all the time, but sometimes, like, you know, I have a friend, a really good friend of mine, that he's a gay guy. And he knows I'm a Christian, and we have these conversations. But you know what I'm saying. We still can hang out and be cordial with each other. But he even said that community's a over sexualized. You know what I'm saying? It's an over sexualized community, and like they push this stuff and they do these things to our children that wouldn't even be acceptable if like straight people were doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you look at like the gay pride parades and stuff like that, it's almost like perverted and like sick in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Very, very sexual, right? It's not just like living in harmony with the opposite sex. Like it's very, like she said, like buttless chaps and like dildos and chains and like it's almost
having
like
a grand old time.
Matter of fact, why did we go? It's kind of like erotic, dude. Like it's out of, and like on the other end of the spectrum, if like you said, if we had a heterosexual parade, right, bunch of straight married people, I equally wouldn't think that it was presentable to be in my thongs and thongs. What if I wore a thong?
I love that, honestly.
Stop! You need to go to the other parade. But like that wouldn't be acceptaptable, right?
No,
like I wouldn't go to a heterosexual parade and they're just like all naked and having chains and whips and like we didn't show the video, but like she's talking about this dude that was wearing, like she said, buttless chaps and like I saw the video and it was disturbing, dude. Like he's dressed up and like he's twerking and like in a thong, like it's gross, dude. Like, and I would say that with a straight guy, right? Or even a girl, like, I wouldn't go to a parade, or I wouldn't think it's appropriate, like, to have a girl doing that, a straight girl doing that, right? When there's kids around, right? So I can agree with it, man. But I'll say this and I'll go back to you. You're bringing up your friend, and I equally have a friend, and we had this discussion, and he feels like he's even an outcast of the LGBT community because he's just a gay dude, right? Doesn't wear like weird, provocative stuff, right? Doesn't participate in orgies. I don't know what. I don't know what is acceptable in that community.
But he said he don't feel like he fits in.
He doesn't fit in. Like he said, I'm just like I hate to say a normal dude, but if you saw him, it wouldn't be like flags to say I'm a gay guy. I'm a gay guy. You wouldn't know he's a gay dude.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. So I just relate to what you were saying. But
Yeah.
back to you. I'll let you take this one.
No, you were asking about like how do we navigate through it, and how do we live as Christians, stand firm in our faith and our convictions and what we believe in and what the Bible says, and then also practice our faith and be loving and kind like we've been called to do, right? Like there's a lot of Christians that if you speak anything about homosexuality or anything, the Christians come out like, well, doesn't the Bible say to love? And it's like, yes.
And don't judge. You can't judge.
Yeah. Don't judge. And it's like, yes, that's not what people are doing. When you say like, hey, I don't agree with that lifestyle or that sin or whatever that you're doing, doesn't mean that I don't not love that person. I'm not judging. Like I'm going to tell my son, dude, you can't be looking at girls' booties like that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be doing it. Like you can't be stealing. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't, like it's just like just because you don't agree with something or hey, like I don't that goes against my religions and my beliefs doesn't mean that you're judging or not accepting or not loving. You know what I'm saying? But what I feel like Christians too, one, you better be ready to be called a bigot, right? Because some Christians don't want to be called bigots and like, oh, you're not accepting, what the world is going to do. They're going to shame you into believing what they want you to believe. And then don't be afraid of feeling like a hypocrite. Like in our other video, we talked about continuous sinning. Like, yeah, we got work to do. I need to change who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't be afraid to not call sin a sin, even though I know I have a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So you don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. Stand up for what the Bible says in a loving way. And then you can't be scared that can't be scared of being judged.
Standing up
and
for
then
what you believe.
like the culture's changing, like you said, it's in everything. Don't be conformed to the ways of the world, right?
Yeah.
So the Bible and Jesus, everything is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But anyway, like we're not changing with the times, right? Sin is sin.
Yeah.
People have all these conversations about what the word means and all this stuff. Go and look it up. Do the research, and it's not it's not going to end well for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what was that? Was one more thing. Oh, and then the other thing I'd like to say, I don't know Candace Owens, and I don't know what her life is like, her relationship with Jesus. I know she's confessed that she's a Jesus or a Christian, but I feel like more Christians should speak up about the topic because you said it. What did you say about the church not?
Yeah, I think we just would rather coexist, right, and not touch. I asked numerous people to leave me videos or give me their opinion and like things like that, and people do not want to touch it. Christians do not want to touch it. They do not want to say their opinion on it. They do, whether it's abortion, whether it's this LGBTQ movement.
Yeah,
they would rather be silent, right, and not say anything, right?
Yeah.
And I think we said it previously, but to say nothing is to say something. It's cliche, but like, how are we supposed to stand up for our biblical views and values if we don't say anything about it? Right? We just coexist and say it's okay.
Yeah.
If we don't stand up for it, we're losing. And that's something that we've said it numerous times when we talk about the world. But that's something, so when we talk about right now, okay, what do we do about it? How do we live with this? How do we tackle this problem? In my household, we will talk about it. And that's something I would encourage people to do. If you don't say something, the world's going to win.
Yeah. And that's like with her. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But go back to even asking that question. Like I said, I don't know her or whatnot. I know the camp that she's put in, though. You know what I mean? And like I said, I agree with her with a lot of stuff, not everything. But I don't feel like I'm not in the camp that she's in.
Yeah. Even
though people would say I'm a conservative Christian, white American, whatever, and maybe I am all those things in a sense. But and that I don't feel like she's done a bad thing in what she's saying there and a lot of different things. But more, I think the people that are most likely to speak out against those things are sometimes the people that maybe shouldn't be speaking out on behalf. Like you think of the church in Florida with the signs, you know,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not afraid to speak out. You know what I'm saying? So I think more Christians need to speak up on these things. Like, you're not going to be liked anyway,
Yeah.
but at least you can show like, hey, we're not all carrying pitchforks and
Right.
and signs and stuff like that, and then show them like, hey, we can live in a culture and a society where we're not gonna like we don't agree on lifestyles and things like that, but if you tell me that I believe in a sky daddy, it's not real and the Bible's fake and manipulated, these things I hold sacred. Like, who's going to call you a bigot?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're okay with telling me those things, which I don't really care. You can do it, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't be like, hey, I don't agree with that lifestyle. And,
Right.
oh my God. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because I don't think it's okay. I don't agree with homosexuality regardless, but it definitely ain't all right when you see some of the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, if we don't stand up for our values, our beliefs, our biblical truth, right, then why do we exist? Like, what we're supposed to be the light in the darkness, right? There's a whole lot of darkness going on, and if we just stay silent and coexist, like, how is the light of Jesus supposed to shine? And now I'm not saying like, okay, hate. I guess that's the thing, right? Like, I don't hate that community. I have family members, I have friends that are in that community, right? And it's not for me to judge, but it is for me to stand up for what I believe in biblically, right? I'm not saying they're like, I know what the Bible says. The Bible says that those type of people will not inherit the kingdom of heaven, along with other stuff we talked about, drunkards, prideful, right? There's a lot of things that we've said. So I'm not just putting that LGBT community in that category. But if we don't stand up and say that and stand up for what we believe in, then how are we supposed to be a voice, right, for the biblical truth? I think it's important for us to do it. The Bible's pretty clear, bro. Like we're not supposed to be liked by the world.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be persecuted and hated by the world.
Yeah.
Right? And I stand by this all the time. Like, these disciples and apostles were martyred for the Bible, for their beliefs, for their values. I say it a lot, and it makes me think about it. Like, why would I be silent when these dudes died for biblical truth?
Yeah.
And yet we just want to be Christians that coexist and don't say nothing about it because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, or I care about what people say about me. I don't care, and nor should you care. Now, there's a balance between truth and grace. We should love. I'm not saying hate that community, but we have to take a stand as parents, as coaches, as teachers, as whatever it is. If you're a Christian and you're out in the world, be a light in the world.
Yeah, the rest of everybody else is going to be pushing their agenda and being how they want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're right.
So I would say that's really my takeaway from this conversation is we have to speak up. And if you're not going to speak up in public, if you're not going to speak up on social media, if you're not going to speak up to your friends, at least speak up in your household.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that.
Right? Speak up in your household. Like, that's where it starts. We have to influence our children, our family, our friends, circle, whatever it is, right? It needs to be discussed. Yeah. Because if you don't discuss it, it's a norm, and you're losing your household. Yeah. It's going to become normalized. All right.
No, you're right. The kids are growing up in this culture, you know what I'm saying? And the climate of the country that we live in, these lifestyles and stuff like that is being pushed in video games, music, everything. So if you don't say something, somebody will. You can only shelter your kids too long. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. All right, man, that's it. Balance, truth, and grace. But to say nothing is to say something. And I think that if we don't stand up for biblical truth, we're starting to lose the battle.
That's true.
All right, bro. That's all I got. Peace out.